A year and a half ago, when Sharon and I decided to undergo the journey of this podcast, it started as fun, but a chance for us to give the world more information and support regarding sexuality and disabilities. What has become very clear is that talking about sexuality is not the only avenue to explore. It's comparable to the belief that if we pay people more, they will stay on the job, but somehow the money will also make them great at what they do. It's not quite that simple. Even the highest paid surgeon in the world does not necessarily have all the required skills to be considered great by the receiver of his or her service. Our service system has seen many significant shifts. Some have been great, but some can leave us scratching our heads and wondering why they ever made sense at all. There is no one solution to any problem. What it takes is a willingness to listen, a willingness to understand, and a willingness to change. Our goal is not to just bring the listeners information, but to challenge those listeners and systems at large to evaluate ways in which we can build capacity. Our goal is not just to bring the listeners information, but to challenge those listeners and systems at large to evaluate ways in which we can build capacity within the system, but do so in a way that has a profound and lasting effect. Even the great surgeon must keep up with research, continue his or her education, and adapt to evolution and changes. Over the next few months, these, quote, two old sexperts, end quote, will slightly shift in content. It is essential to look at what may be considered fundamental concepts that may be increasingly misunderstood as time passes. I was very fortunate to be raised in a system with great leaders and mentors like David Hinsberger, James Hovind, Guy Laguerre, and of course, my dear friend and podcast co-host, Sharon Potter. The most critical concept has been understanding and constantly practicing aspects specific to positive approaches, which does not mean we grant people, even people in our system, everything they want. It has also meant struggling with my ego daily to listen, to learn, to receive, and to change in order to impact another person's life, even in the slightest way. As we look at closing another year, we will be working to bring you more information on various concepts and practices. Like watching a video, listening to a podcast can only provide so much perspective. We're at a crossroads, and we want to see capacity built within our system to sustain more significant and lasting change over time. Sharon and I are blessed to have built a career and niche in sexuality. Still, we understand too that the willingness and ability to do so takes a great deal more than listening to concepts related to risk, consent, and sexuality in general. Socrates said, "The secret of change is to focus all your energy not on fighting the old, but building the new." If we want an evolution of change with human rights, equal justice, or change in general, then this means changing the system from within the system. The ability to see an entire human being should not be learned. It must start coming naturally.